All right, hello again, everybody. This is John again. I think in a couple other videos I talked about ordering the Revolt Advanced. I got it this weekend, actually. I got to ride it once, and I can talk a whole lot about it. I love it so far. But what I'm going to do is get some more experience with it and compare it to my previous road endurance bike. Kind of talk about the all-in-one bike concept, quiver killer, whatever you want to call it. So far, a great bike. But since it's a great brand new bike, I want to protect it as much as I can. So what I'm going to talk about today is putting on the Laminex. Laminex is this surface. I actually have it on the top tube here. I put it on the seat post tube here as well. Tried that yesterday to kind of get the flow of the product. My installation is not perfect. I think the product is very good. I could have done a better job, I think. But the goal is, of course, to protect the bike from impact, rocks, things like that, protect the paint job. So I'll take it not looking absolutely perfect if it keeps the paint looking better. This product, I believe, is 12 mil thick. This is, of course, with the backing as well, so it's not actually going to look this color. It is a little bit of a matte. You can definitely tell a little bit of the difference, but not much. And I'm willing to kind of do that to keep the paint job in such good condition. I'm not going to put it over the whole bike, just kind of your higher impact areas. I did the top tube because it gets hit a lot. I did this tube as well, front and back. The back looks really good. The front, not so great, but that's my application. So what I'm going to do today is do the chainstays, do the top chainstays here. I will probably do at least the outside of this chainstay. This one already has a guard on it, kind of protect it from chain whip, but I may still put it on like this part and some of this. I'll play around with it and put it on the outside here. And then eventually I'll do the front forks as well. But today I'm going to talk about just the chainstays. What I've done is I've already gone through and measured the distance from here to here. What I've done is not the whole distance. What I found from working up here and from this section here, if you look at this part, it's got kind of a indentation where the tire comes in. That's the hardest part. If it was all just straight flat angles, this would be easy, no problem. The problem you have is just any kind of angles, tubes, because this angle down here kind of threw off the front, and that's why my front looks a little gummed up. I'll get some pictures of that and kind of show you what it looks like. And again, the ugliness up here is my fault, not the product. I think the product works really well. I think it's going to be thick enough to kind of protect. And if you're looking for it, you're probably going to see the difference. But again, I will take a little bit of something on the bike versus a major paint chip or something like that. The product is pretty easy to put on. The only problem again was just getting around angles, things like that. So we're going to see how this goes. We'll see. It's going to be an adventure. This is going to go. I'm actually going to have to cut that a little bit because it's going to go back on itself, and that's not going to work out very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this a little smaller, because what I've learned is, what I've noticed from here is that it's going to overlap. That doesn't work very well. You really want something that's going to kind of have a little bit of a gap between the two. I know it leaves an open gap, but I take a little bit of the gap over kind of it gapping over itself and not looking good and possibly more importantly coming off later. I want something that's going to stay on and protect the bike. So what I'm going to do is trim this up a little bit more. But one thing I will talk about before I go cut out of here and do that is you want to measure from here to here. So I measured the length, and I thought I got the width correct, but I must have mismeasured that. So I'm going to go back and actually cut off just a little bit of the side again, make it just a little narrower. Here's as a wrap over on itself. But the length is good, because again, I'm not going to try to get this part right now. I may come back and put some smaller piece up there just to cover that. My goal here is just the big sections, the main chainstay runs. So let me go cut this back. I'll cut this down a little bit. I'll be right back. We'll put it on and see how it goes. Again, I'm coming back and kind of cut off a little bit of the edge, make it a little narrower. The kit does come with, if it's on X-Acto knife, a spray bottle. It is empty. You just put a little bit of soapy solution and water in there. That makes it, helps it adhesive when you put it on. I'll show you how that works in a second. And a squeegee. But what I found actually when I played with it yesterday was a great tool before you use the squeegee is just a standard little microfiber cloth or some sort of towel like that. So I'm going to keep that with me. I've already cut it down, so I'm going to close up my tool. So what I'm going to do is go in your spray bottle. I've already cleaned these off. Obviously, prep is very important. Get these as clean as you possibly can. Get any dust, any junk like that out of the way. Then you just take and peel the backing off of this. Just like that, and there, this is just the backing, and it goes away. Then you spray this. And then you just put it on the chainstay. All right, and when you first put it on, it moves around pretty easily. And that's why I like the idea of using the towel. I'll show you why here in a second. Learn this on the top tube. It'll move a lot. If I just started squeegeeing this thing on, it would just move a whole lot on its own. And it wouldn't really get much, it wouldn't really stick. All right. So you can kind of get it on there. It moves around easily, fairly easily. All right, there we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is take the towel. This kind of helps with even pressure. Kind of go around. There's no real easy way to do this. It's just kind of keep on pressing it and pressing it onto the chainstay. Now we'll go back and forth. There we go. And then the problem I have, again, if it was a totally flat edge, it would work out amazingly well. It's just all the loops is where it gets a little messy. And I will take just a little bit of air bubbles and imperfection if they'll protect the paint job. Now then, kind of go around, just kind of squeeze it, put some pressure on it. I'll try not to move it too much because if you wiggle it back and forth, it's not going to stick. It probably takes about 5–10 minutes for it to really kind of start sticking. Right now, if I moved it, it would move around the surface very easily, which is good for application. All right. Okay, now I'm just starting to go through, get some of the liquid out of it. Now I'm going to take the squeegee, just kind of go through and squeegee out the air bubbles and squeegee it onto the chainstay. It's not going to be a perfect fit, but it'll look good on the outside, and it'll still protect on the inside where the wheel is, which is, of course, the most important part. All right, keep on just going through and putting pressure on it to kind of stick it to the chainstay and get rid of my air bubbles. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for a little while longer. I'll come back in a little bit and kind of get some more air bubbles out. But I think for right now, I just want to let it kind of dry, let it kind of stick, and then I'll come back, get the air bubbles. So now I have the other piece. Let me check it out on this side. I may have to go back and cut it. Nope, this is the other side of that same piece, because this comes in, I got the 4-inch by 60-inch piece. So this came out, and again, it's all, this chainstay has a little bit of just natural curves to it, and that causes a little bit of an issue. But it seems to adapt pretty well. And again, I'm more about protecting, and it's a chainstay, you're not really going to see much of this anyway. So, all right, let's go ahead and get the other piece on. So do the same thing. Take this guy, spray it down, then put it on right here. All right, same thing. There we go, yeah. Just kind of press it on. Get as much of the water out. This is, again, right now, it's that phase where it can move very easily. It's not as sticky. It's more kind of easily able to be moved around the chainstay. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of take this, press it on. All I'm doing is just kind of pressing, putting a little bit of pressure on it to kind of push it onto the actual chainstay on the bike and kind of push any air bubbles and liquid out. I found that works pretty well. And then I come in with the squeegee afterwards, here in a second. Oops. Now it's starting to get to the stick phase, which is good. I'm just getting the air bubbles out. I'm looking for air bubbles. Now some of this curved part at the top where it kind of curves around, I'm just going to kind of push into it to make sure it gets on that curve. There we go. I maybe should have cut this one a little shorter like I did the other side, but I'll put it on and try it. One thing I learned too, I wouldn't advise taking it off and reapplying it, but I did have to do that last night on the top tube a little bit, and it worked out well. There's definitely a couple air bubbles, but again, that's not because of the product, I think it's because of my application. And again, angles are always the hard part. Angles are the hard part for this. If it was all totally flat and straight, it would do awesome. I think the front forks will be a little easier. Well, no, there's a little bit of a taper there. But if it protects them, it keeps them pretty, and protects the paint job, prevents it from damage, I'm happy. And again, I'm not going to do the whole bike, just kind of high impact areas. So I just did this part, and I just did the top tube. I'm going to do some more of the top tube because I have a bag that goes on here. I'll do that here in just a little bit, and then the front forks. And now I'm just going around looking for imperfections, looking for air bubbles. Take this, I got a couple of air bubbles right here. This is Laminex frame guard. This I got actually from Walmart. You can go from Amazon as well. I actually have another 4" by 60". It comes on a roll. Comes like this. Comes on a 4" by 60" roll. I have another one actually that I think I liked it here so much I went ahead and got some more. It comes with instructions. Like I said, it comes with the cutter. It comes with the spreader tool. It comes with the little spray bottle as well. Again, it comes empty. Just put your soap and water solution in there and mix it up. Works really well. Pretty easy actually. I mean, it's not a perfect application, but I wanted to kind of put it on myself and see what I can do. So now, that's pretty much it. Now what I'm going to keep on doing is going back and just pressing on some more bubbles, pressing on this to make sure it's even on there. Get it as even as I can. Yeah. So, if you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. I'm going to do a video either tonight or fairly soon on also putting the rack on the giant Revolt as well. I'm going to take it off my Contend. That was a pretty popular video. I had a few questions based on that, so I'm going to put it on my Revolt because ultimately that rack is going to stay on this bike. So I'm going to put that on. You might do that video tonight or fairly soon. So look for that coming up soon as well. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments, and have a great day.